Well, thanks for having you here. First of all, congratulations for your new album. I think it sounds great.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
And I read in your press note that you guys said that you are very excited, like as a topic, that you are so excited with this album. Do you think also is this the best album up to date?
I mean, obviously, with each album we put out, we try to make it the best album. You know, I will think this is it is. I think it's some of our best work musically, and I think it's our most transparent album lyrically that we've ever written. We didn't want to kind of anything we wanted to say. We didn't want to beat around the bush or put a bunch of say it metaphorically. We just wanted to say it, and I think people will appreciate that and respect that. But yeah, I think I'm beyond proud of this music. Everything is fresh. We didn't go back to the well, so to speak, and pull from any old ideas. We wanted everything to be fresh and new moving forward. And I think this is some of our best collection of songs we've ever released together.
Yeah, that was gonna be my next question. Yeah, I was listening to all your CDs and albums, and I could feel a lot of blues and classic rock influences in the previous albums, but this one for me sounds like much more modern, heavier, like with rock tunings. You were looking for this kind of style.
Yeah, I mean, if you go back to like our first album, for example, it was really raw and just very riff oriented, and I think that's where we were at this time around too. We've always played in drop tunings and so to speak, but I think this sound of this record is a lot more modern sonically, and I think the songs, with a lot of the melodies and things like that, which was refreshing to us because that's what we started out doing. And there's always going to be pieces of us that sound Southern and that have blues influence in it. But I think this one is definitely probably more modern sounding.
Mm-hmm. I also like the video you released from the song Nervous. And actually it was funny to see you guys beat up in the video.
Yeah, that was fun.
How does the critic has do you have like good welcome for the audience with the video?
Yeah, everybody seems to have loved it. And everybody loves the song, which is great. And we just put out another video for Smile World, which is just really cool. And that was supposed to be just kind of like a lyric video, but it turned into something totally on its own. And it's one of my favorites. It's just a really fun video to watch. And it's getting a lot of great reception. So I'm very thankful for that.
Oh, that's great. I also read that you rented the Plaza Theater in Glasgow, in Kentucky, to record this album. Could you explain me why did you do that and how was the process?
Yeah, so that theater is our local theater built in 1934, and we do our Christmas shows there every other year, and we go donate towards charities, and it's just a really, really special place for us, just because it's kind of like our little town's really cool piece of history that's still standing and still active. And when we came time to look at where we're going to record the album, you can do guitars and vocals pretty much anywhere now with modern technology, but we knew we wanted a big sounding room for drums. So instead of renting out some big theater somewhere or a studio somewhere or having to travel, we had the idea, hey, what happens if we just rent out the theater? Because we know it sounds great when we play there. So we did it, and we didn't know what to expect, with recording an album in there because nobody's ever recorded in there. But it came out sounding great, and we took a lot of the equipment and we put it in the basement, which is where the dressing room is, and they ran a bunch of cables upstairs. And then John Fred, our drummer, just set up on a stage to an empty theater and tracked the drums that way. And it sounded thunderous.
Oh yeah, the album sounds great. I love the production. Actually, do you guys mix and produce the album yourselves, or how do you do that?
Yeah, we produced it ourselves, and our friend Jordan Westfall, who tours with us as our monitor and bass tech, he also engineered the album and mixed it. He did the last one as well, so it's really good that we were able to do so much of this just in-house.
So most of the songs are played live, I guess, right? Or you did a lot of editing?
Well, what we did was John Fred would cut his drum tracks to like a scratch guitar track or a demo guitar track. And then we would go in and play the guitars and bass on top of his drum tracks. And that's a really cool way to do it because he might do some fills, a drum roll or something that might inspire a new riff that we hadn't done previously. So it's really cool to play the guitars on top of an already recorded drum track. It feels good, and it's a little more inspiring that way, I think.
Yeah, I was going to ask you also about the composition process. If you all guys write together the songs, or some songs is from one and for the other, if you do it together by yourselves, or
Yeah, everything we do is all together. With the exception of maybe one or two songs, "Raindrops on a Rose" was written by Chris and Jordan, our engineer. They both lost their fathers in 2020 and 2021. So that they wrote that song together as a tribute to them. Everything else, we all have our own input into. You know what I mean? And that's just the way we like doing it. That way nobody has to carry the pressure of writing an entire album on their own. And everybody might be thinking different things lyrically and melodically. So when everybody's working together, it really is a band with the same thing to say versus just one guy writing it and everybody else just playing it.
Okay, nice. Sorry to hear that. Also wanted to ask you, how was this is the first recording with Steve on bass. I would like to know what changed in the group with him playing bass.
He's such a talented musician. I mean, he can play guitar, drums, bass. I mean, a little piano. He played slide guitar on the song "Nervous," for example. I think he brought another level of musicality to the band, and you can hear it all over the record. The way he plays the bass is really cool, and we're just really, really lucky to have him. And he's just an incredible person, incredible musician, and it feels good. It feels really good.
Oh, nice. And what about live performances? I think you recently went on tour with the Darkness, and how was that?
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. We've been fans of that band for a long time, and that was a great tour. The only problem was it was too short. It was only just a few shows. I wish we could have done more together, but it was a lot of fun, and always an honor to go overseas and play.
Okay. You also changed over the years from your Roadrunner label to Mascot. And I wanted to know if changing of label has had any kind of impact in your music, if you are more free now to do wherever you want, or it has nothing to do.
Yeah, I think we're definitely more free. And that was the thing when we left Roadrunner and we were kind of looking for our next home, so to speak. We were I believe we were in Switzerland and on tour in Europe. And we met with the owner of the record label of Mascot. And we had dinner with him, and just, he was feeling us out. We were feeling him out. And I think we just realized this guy really understands music. He's not just a guy that's head of a record label somewhere that just cares about money. He really has a passion for music. And they have been really good to us. The only thing we said was we just wanted creative control. We'll work together on a lot of things, but when it comes to the music, let us do the music. So it's been a really great process. They really just let us be ourselves.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask about labels today, because today with all the internet, the social networks, and all this do-it-yourself, culture that everyone manages everything, how important are record labels today for the band?
I mean, you're seeing a lot of bands get more creative now. A lot of bands are starting to figure out ways to do it without needing record labels. Luckily, our deal with Mascot is more or less a distribution deal. Back in the day of record labels coming in and wanting to do a 360 and take a piece of every single thing you do, that's just impossible in today's world. With the way the industry is. But I think they're good, and I think they can be bad. If you find the right home that lets you do it how you want to do it, and they're great to work with, I think it's fine. But otherwise, a lot of bands are putting out music independently, and just finding different platforms, and I think that's really great too.
Nice. I would like to know like a little bit of how the band, apart from doing the shows and writing music, how is your day-to-day basis? Do you guys have like a fixed number of rehearsals a week, or you are more free? How do you guys manage?
We all live very close together. and we talk every day. But we usually don't rehearse while we're home, just because we're on tour a lot of the time. So like we got home yesterday from a show, and I'll leave again tomorrow. So we really don't have time, because the short time we do have at home, we're doing things, spending time with our family and all that kind of thing, stuff like that. So that's just kind of been our schedule, for the longest time.
Yeah, and how you deal between going on tour and staying home with your families? How is that?
Luckily, we have very, very supportive families, and yes, they miss us when we're gone. We miss them, but they're very happy to see us do what we love, because they know that we love what we do, and it's always about a healthy balance too. We won't tour too much at one time, so nobody gets burned out. So we try to. It's always about keeping a healthy balance.
And also, I think you guys have been together like for since the beginning of the band. And I was wondering, how difficult is trying not to repeat yourselves when you've been so many years together playing, the same musicians, and how you do that?
Yeah, it can be tough sometimes, but we listen to so much different music, and we're always inspired. And music's always changing. So, sometimes you might get into a rut when you're writing, thinking, "Oh, that sounds old school," but you don't want to overthink it, because there's a certain degree of sounding old school that a lot of fans will appreciate. So it's all about keeping up, and also setting your own trends, and I think that's what we always try to do, is just do what we do and do it the best we can.
Mhm. And also was wondering, because Chris also plays great guitar, so I would like to know, how do you guys decide when whether you or Chris will record a solo, or how do you?
So Chris is primarily he is the lead guitar player in the band, and he plays lead guitar great. There are certain songs where maybe my style of lead would work out, and we'll do that. Or my style of playing a certain part is better. But Chris and I we don't have egos, and we don't care. It's all about who, the best part wins, so it's not about, oh, you played too many solos, I didn't get any solos. It's like, no, it's like, he nails the solos every single time. So it's like I'm not going to step on any toes like that. I couldn't do it as good as he could do it. And vice versa on certain things. So we really it's just a healthy relationship, our band.
And I was wondering how you guys are different as guitarists, and what do you learn from playing with him, and what do you think he learns playing with him?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of that. He comes from more of a Southern rock blues style of playing, and I do learn a lot and listen to some of his licks and pick up on that. His phrasing of lead guitar. And I think, I don't want to speak for him, but I think maybe there's certain things I do that he picks up on, like the little, like reggae stuff. I love listening to a lot of reggae music. We were just talking about that the other day on the road. There's a reggae part before one of our songs, and he said, you do that better than I do it. So, you do that. And I'll go, okay, cool. So that's just the way we work. There are certain things that we each know each other's strong points. And we want those to be showcased.
Nice. Now that you talk about you listening to reggae, what are your main influences in music? And also would like to know if the band also, if you also listen to some bands and say, oh, we could try this kind of sound. Or...
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, my main influence is Elvis Presley. We don't sound like Elvis, but that's what my main inspiration was. That, Aerosmith, Jimmy Buffett, which we just lost Jimmy Buffett, unfortunately. But there are certain times we listen to bands and get ideas and go, we should try something like that, or let's explore how we would do that. We don't want to copy anybody else because it's already been done. We definitely want to set our own path, But I think anybody would be lying to say that you don't listen to stuff and just get inspired. I think that's a great thing.
And as a guitarist, when you started, did you have any guitar heroes that
Yeah, of course. I love Joe Perry, Aerosmith, Jimi Hendrix, of course, Jimmy Page. I love Brian Setzer because I love rockabilly music. So Brian Setzer is one of my favorite guitar players. Scotty Moore, James Burton, a lot of those old classic guys that I just I just love their style of playing.
Yeah, you got on your Family Tree album, you got Warren Haynes to collaborate with you.
Yeah.
and which that was very nice. And I was wondering, do you have in mind any collaboration in the future that could,
Possibly. I mean, I'm not sure who now. I think we just wanted to release, just our own selves playing for now. But I mean, we're always open to the right collaboration. I think there's lots of people out there we would love to do something with. It's just the when and where to make it make sense.
Also, you have headlined in big arenas, and you even played in and recorded the live in the Royal Albert Hall, which is great. But also open for like many bands, like Leopard, Whitesnake, Nickelback, Linus Skyner. Is there any of those bands or any something that was really special for you, like your idols that say, "Wow, that was great"?
Yeah, I mean, touring with Def Leppard and Whitesnake was unbelievable. The Def Leppard camp especially was just so kind to us and would go out of their way to make sure that we were taken care of. And that really meant a lot because they didn't have to do that. Whitesnake as well. They didn't have to go out of their way and introduce themselves. And that means a lot to us. Alice Cooper, we did a tour with in 2019, which was one of the coolest, well, probably one of the best tours we've ever been a part of. That whole camp was so gracious to us. And it's inspiring and you learn a lot. That way, when you go on tour as a headliner and you have somebody opening for you, you want to be that same way these, idols were to you. So I'm really thankful that we've been able to tour with some really, really humble, awesome people.
Wow, sounds great. And how life has changed for you since the beginning of the band and now that it's pretty big,
I think we're still the same dudes. We don't consider ourselves rock stars. The only thing different is we're married and two of us have kids. Two of the guys have kids. Otherwise, we're still the same teenagers at heart. You know what I mean? That love being together and playing music together and traveling the world together. And that's still the same, and I'm really lucky we've been able to keep it like it is for so long.
Yeah, but that reminds me that I read that when you recorded your first CD, the whole town was waiting for you to, like with posters, and you put that on the Hell and High Water video. So
Yeah.
right now in your hometown must be like crazy, right?
Yeah, our hometown has been really, really supportive of us, and it's really humbling to go out to stores or a restaurant and have people come up and say, "I'm so proud of you. I remember seeing you and when y'all were first starting," and that means a lot to us because we love our community.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I think you're releasing this album also like in vinyl. Do you think the vinyls now are helping to start selling CDs a little bit again because the sales went very down?
I think so. Vinyl's definitely had a resurgence. You're seeing more and more independent vinyl record stores come up, and I think it's a great thing. People are listening to music in a certain way again. So, yeah, I think it's definitely helping. There's a lot of vinyl collectors out there, which that helps a lot too. So it's just cool, and the packaging looks just so much cooler when it's big like that. The artwork and things of that nature. So we always try to put our albums out on vinyl every time we get a chance.
But I guess that a band like yours, probably the main income for the band is like the live concerts, right?
I think any band would probably say that touring and merchandise is where it's at. Just with the state of the music world today. So, that's how we got to do it.
Yeah. And in a more personal level, like what things you like to do when you have time off the band and the music?
I love to draw. I love being on the water, the lake or the ocean. I just love that. We have 3 beagles, so we spend a lot of time, hanging out with our dogs, and otherwise, I'm always up for an adventure. I'm not the kind that comes home and just sits at home. I can't stand that. So I'm always looking for something to do and keep my mind busy. So luckily, I have a lot of things that keep me preoccupied.
Nice. And about in a more like guitaristic sense, could you tell me a little bit what's the gear, guitars, amps that you usually use?
Yeah, of course, we're using Gibson Les Paul. There's an independent builder by the name. His company's called Lucky Dog. He makes great Telecasters. Lucky Dog. And Chris and I both use them. Nash is another independent builder. I use their Telecasters. I have a Valiant guitar, which is overseas. Amps, we're using I use PV cabinets, Chris and I do, and we're using the Line 6 Helix as the amp, and it just sounds fantastic. You know, it's always there, always reliable, and it works great.
Nice. And do you use to keep like a heavy routine on practicing guitar, or?
Yeah, I think I'm always, you know, I keep a guitar out in the room even when I'm home, because I think if you put them away, it's out of sight, out of mind. So we're always noodling around. You know, it's just part of what you do. You know.
Nice. Good. And about younger people right now, is there any guitarist or any band like from nowadays that you would say, wow, I love those guys?
There's a lot of music out there that we listen to. It's probably not rock. There's a group called Dirty Heads. There's a group called Stick Figure, which are both reggae rock bands that I listen to a lot. But there's a lot of great new rock bands coming out. You know, we just listen to a lot of different stuff, and you know, those are probably my two favorite now. I know it's a different genre, but that's two of my favorites.
Oh, that's nice. And talking about the future, are you planning to go on tour? And if so, are you coming to Europe?
Yeah, of course, we're on tour right now in the States. We come to the UK at the end of this month. And then our plan is to come to Europe next year for sure. Once the album is out, we'll definitely be over there.
Oh, that would be great if you can come to Spain. That would be great.
Yeah, we love playing there.
Oh, nice. That's good to hear. Okay, it's been a pleasure, and wish you all the best in the tour and with the new album when it comes out.
Thank you. Hopefully, we'll see you in Spain very soon.
Yeah, if you come, we'll see you for sure.
Thank you, buddy. Have a good day.
Take care. You too. Bye bye.